All right. Hey, welcome to the Bizinga Podcast. We are live today with Larry Winget, the six-time New York Times bestseller author. He is the pit bull of personal development. He is the man. He shoots it straight. And first of all, Larry, I want to thank you for coming on the show. Means more to me than you could imagine.
I appreciate you having me. We'll have a good time, I promise.
I'm sure we will. So Larry's going to shoot us straight. We're going to talk about some things. First of all, Larry, can you tell us about your new book? I wanted to take some time. I think it's a great book, and I think it's important that everybody knows a little bit about you. So why don't you take it from there and just let us know a little bit what you got going on with the what's wrong with damn near everything.
What's wrong with damn near everything? How the collapse of core values is destroying us and how to fix it. That's the name of the book. And, I think that pretty much says it all. That's what's wrong with damn near everything. It's what's wrong with people's lives, business, education system, government. It's the collapse of core values. That will absolutely destroy us. I wrote 6 bestsellers about how people could make their lives better, their businesses better. I did a parenting book, a finance book, a business book, a couple of personal development books, all about things you can do. And here's what I discovered after doing all those books. People aren't doing a damn thing. They're not doing it anyway. So you can give people things to do, and unless they are good people, they're not going to do those things for very long. So the new book is about becoming better people and getting back to the core values that really matter. Things like honesty, integrity, work ethic, kindness, respect, those sorts of things. Because bad people will never do good things for very long. We got to become good people.
So that's interesting because... So you're telling me that good habits make best practices? That's something I've heard before.
Yeah, that's one way to put it. It's not about good habits, though. Only good people will have good habits. We're trying to give bad people good habits. We go to our employees and say, we want you to do all of these things. Well, they're not going to do those things because they're bad people. People who don't respect others are not going to show up on time. They're not going to return calls on time. They're not going to keep their commitments. They're not going to serve people well because they don't respect people enough to serve them well. So we're trying to get good behavior from people who don't have good core values, and it's impossible to do.
That's funny. I think I heard you. And for those that don't know, I do listen to Larry live on Facebook once in a while. I catch him on his fan page. I think, you're talking about customer service one time, I think with an airline where you were about 2 pounds over on your
oh, God, yes.
So, I had a very similar experience, not with an airline, with the company, great service. I had some great service there. I went into a car dealership and had the best service I've ever had. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, they might as well just held my hand, sat me down, hooked me up, done everything.
Oh.
I walk up front, one person destroyed that in about 2 seconds.
Yeah.
So, it's so important. So Larry, look, you get reviews. We've been talking about reviews here on the podcast, online reviews, online reputation, how important that is for a business or it is, or maybe it's not. I don't know. But you get reviews, right? I mean, you sell books.
Hell, I get death threats. Are you kidding me? I got an email the other day from a guy said, I hope your kids die, your wife gets raped, and you rot in hell from cancer. And I went, oh, my God, really? Just for telling people to spend less money than they make, be good human beings, treat others well, spend the right amount of – yeah, that's how people are. I get a lot of stuff.
Did you take that seriously? I mean –
yeah. The death threats, every once in a while, they come a little close, and I've been stalked and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I can take some of that stuff pretty seriously. But the stuff people say online about me, to hell with them. I don't care who you are. If you stand up for anything, somebody's going to hate you for it. I mean, Jesus stood up for loving one another, and they killed him for it. So, the fact that Larry Winget tells people to do something, or you have advice for somebody and people don't like it, to hell with them. I got a guy who regularly leaves me reviews on all of my books. He never buys the books. He just reviews the book. And he reviews all of my YouTube videos. He has something to say about everything. His name is Nosferatu688. I always respond with, man, it's just a shame that you were the 688th person that decided to call yourself Nosferatu. It's kind of a sad thing you couldn't have been Nosferatu 1. Of course, that just pisses him off more. I don't care. Really, if we live our lives trying to make other people happy, we're going to be miserable human beings. I've given that up. I live my life by core values, so I can look myself in the eye at the end of the day and say, you were a pretty good version of Larry Winget today. You were the real damn deal, buddy. You helped people. You served people well. You treated others right. You spoke well of others. You treated them with respect. You brought value to the marketplace. You were a nice guy to your kids and your wife and people you ran into. Go to bed and have a good night's sleep. If you can do that every day, that's a good life.
So you've got some death threats apparently, and they're getting a little close. So I should not. I've got the bald head. Maybe I should not grow the beard. Somebody just put something on Facebook here, said I need to grow a goatee or so I can look like you.
There you go. Grow the beard and grow the mustache, and there you go.
I might take a bullet for Larry if I do that. I mean, I want to do that. So all right. So I mean, I could totally appreciate it. Listen. I think it's about accountability, responsibility, a lot of those core values. What has been your number one, say, success that has gotten you past? I've heard a lot of your stories, so I don't want to lead you down that path. But what makes Larry tick? What has gotten you through those tough times and some of those good times? Right.
Well, I've been doing what I do right now for a good long time. I've been speaking professionally for almost 30 years. I've written all those bestsellers. I've stood on stages all around the world. And what I think it really comes down to is, and I hate the word almost because the word has become inauthentic, but it comes down to authenticity. It's being the real deal. I've discovered that people are going to love you. People are going to hate you. You really can't get caught up in all of that. So it's kind of what I just mentioned a moment ago, that you got to be the real deal all the time. And here's kind of the thing that has surprised me over the years, is that when you're the real deal, even though people might not like you and might not like what you have to say, they will respect anybody who has the guts and the willingness to say what they believe and stand up for it and speak up for it, even when they disagree. I have people who don't like me, who buy every book that I've got, because I think it's so rare at this place in society. It's so rare to find anybody who is confident enough to say what they believe in the face of haters. We have become a society that tries to make everybody happy. We've become so politically correct that we won't stand up for anything for fear it might hurt somebody's feelings. And so when somebody has the guts to say what they believe and stand up for it and defend it and not be influenced by the words, the reviews, the whatever of other people, people admire that even when they disagree with the content. Were you on Twitter the other day? Did you leave a tweet that left some people a little upset? Is that what you're talking about? In all the years I've been on Twitter, I hate Twitter, by the way. I don't like to communicate on Twitter. I tweet once a day, whatever it is I post on all my social media stuff. I've never read a comment from anybody. And I made the mistake. Excuse me. I made the mistakes. I was going through my Twitter feed and just looked at and this person put up something I just thought was ridiculous, just ridiculous. And I made a comment, first time ever, I made a comment. And wouldn't you know, I set off this Twitter war you wouldn't believe, where people started attacking me and being really disrespectful. And I just think it's a damn shame that we've gotten to the point that we can't disagree about something. And I wasn't being disrespectful to this person at all. I just said, I basically don't agree with what you're posting here, and your facts are way off. Do a little research. And we've gotten to the point where if you disagree with somebody, they think it's a personal attack. How dare anybody disagree with me? They must hate me, and my only appropriate response will be to call them names and attack them personally. That's how sad it's become.
Sometimes you got to be able to agree to disagree, right? I mean, come on.
Goodness gracious. My goal every morning is to piss people off. No, really, it is. And I know that if I post something provocative, and I post a lot of provocative stuff, that I will get people to think. I don't want everybody to disagree. I don't want any sycophants. Nobody wins when that's the case. If people agree with me sometimes, that's great. And if people don't agree with me sometimes, that's wonderful. Because if I make people think, then we can have a discussion. And when people think and start to talk, everybody wins. Really, everybody wins. That we will come to mutual understanding. Even if we don't agree, we will understand why you feel that way, why I feel this way. Everybody wins when that's the case. But that's sadly a tough thing these days.
It is. And Larry. So Larry, you had in your career, so business-wise in your career, I think you had started your own telecommunications company. You probably told the story a bazillion times, right? The government basically shut you down due to the fact of whatever.
They made a ruling that what I did was not going to be legal in my state, so I wasn't grandfathered in. So
now my wife went to the University of Oklahoma, or Oklahoma State. So she's a cowboy. So we know about Oklahoma down there. So so I think that one of the things that I've read or heard or whatever is, Larry's very successful today.
Yep. Went
to work. Left in a lot of pain, right? What happened the next day? Larry walked out his front door and asked his neighbor something. How'd that go? What's that all about?
Well, I went from being the president of the company and making a lot of money to I lost everything that I owned. I lost my company, and that was my source of income. And I just believe that you got to go to work, and you got to go to work doing anything. And the fastest way for me to go to work to keep bread on the table, was to mow my neighbor's yard. So I knocked on the door and said, "Hey, can I mow your yard?" And they said, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Listen, my company folded, and I've got to do something." And, I had garage sales and sold everything I owned, and every weekend a garage sale. It's kind of like the guy who lost everything he had except for his bicycle, and it didn't have any handlebars, and it didn't have a seat. He'd lost his ass and didn't know which way to turn. That was me. And so I went from being the company president to mowing neighbors' yards.
I think that's great, and but when you talk about it in some of the stuff that I've read, and it's really about accountability or taking responsibility, right?
It is about taking responsibility and the willingness to do whatever it takes, even when it's uncomfortable. If I hadn't been willing to do whatever it takes, then who knows what would happen. But I was willing to degrade myself. That's what some people think, and go mow yards. I didn't figure that it was degrading. I needed to make some money. And anything honorable that you do that is legal and serves other people well, if that's how you want to earn your money, good for you. God bless you. We live in a society right now where people think they deserve to find the career that brings them bliss and fulfills their purpose. No, you need a damn job.
So you think entitlement's a problem right now?
Yeah, you think? I think entitlement issues are one of our biggest problems. It's our biggest employment issue right now. This deservability thing, it's destroying our educational systems. It's destroying the workplace, and it could be the ruination of America at some point.
It's definitely got a bad place right now, and it's not. I don't know that it's getting better. And yeah. I have a 17-year-old son, and I can tell you, I do internet marketing, obviously, whatever. And he came to me the other day. His mom came to me and said, "Hey, he should work for you. He should do some stuff for you." I'm like, "All right, I think that's good." And I'm more of a pay by the job type of guy. I'm not a pay by the hour type of guy. You perform, you get paid. So he talks to me about what he's going to make per hour, and he works at a car dealership. He's a lot boy right now, and he told me that he makes more money being a lot boy. And I said, "Well, maybe you should just be a lot boy then." So.
Yeah, I don't really much believe in employing your kids. I'll say, no. I'll give you $5 to go do that or $10 to go do that. But putting your own kid on the payroll, you're not going to be a good enough boss to make him do, because they don't view you as a boss. They need to keep him as a lot boy.
Yeah, exactly. It's a tough relationship, and something I don't really want to go down. But I do want to teach him some of those values and some of the principles, and maybe educate him on some of the disciplines behind it. Larry, what's your best advice for a business owner today? Today's society, what can Larry tell me, say, JD, you know what? Here's something I would tell you to be a great business owner, do this.
Do this. That's really very, very simple for me. Figure out a problem and solve it and add value to the lives and businesses that you're trying to market to. That's what it really comes down to. We've made business today and entrepreneurship and it's all about us. It's about whether we love it. It's about whether we're passionate about it. Holy crap, don't get me started on that. And it should be about the value we bring to the marketplace. If you find a problem and you know that there is pain that is caused by that problem, and you go out and alleviate that pain and solve the problem, you are really adding value to the market. And you can sell that value, and they will see it as something very worthwhile. We all want to alleviate pain, whether it's the pain that comes from being broke, not having a new car, whatever. There is a pain, and we sell to the pain. We market to the pain. And solving the pain and the problem that causes it, that's what it all comes from. So businesses need to focus on solving problems that cause pain. And when you do that, you can charge just about whatever you want.
Sounds pretty good to me. I think the pain points are always the key points. And so Larry, how do people follow Larry?
Well, they're watching me, some of them right now on Facebook Live.
Right.
I've got a Larry Winget fan page, and it's got 75,000 people on there. You can join, and I'm very active on my Facebook fan page. I talk to folks, yell at folks, argue with folks, have a good time with folks. We have a good time. You get to see pictures of my dog and all that stuff to boot, my whiskey that I drink on Friday nights and the cigars that I smoke. So Facebook's always a good way. You can also find me in any bookstore. You can go to larrywinget.com, download a lot of free stuff. I got YouTube channels, Instagram, Twitter. God, I'm everywhere.
And we have one question from the from the. I guess that's actually a comment. I think the word was amen. So whatever you said earlier, I must have missed what time point it was at. They said amen.
Well,
so
there you go. I like an amen section.
So Preacher Larry.
There you go. Hey, I appreciate you having me on today. I really do.
We enjoyed it. And, I can't thank you enough again. It's always good to have just somebody with your caliber and your expertise and history, man. I love it, and I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Larry. We will talk to you soon.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right, buddy. We're off. There you go. Well, thanks, Larry.
I appreciate it. I got to hustle, bud. I got another one coming up in just a minute.
Get after it, buddy. Have a good one.
See ya.